All right. A polling organization is checking the database to see if the two data sources it used sampled the same zip codes. The variable data source 1 or is equal to 1 if the data source is Metro Media, 2 if it is Data West, and 3 if it's Rolling Poll. The organization finds that the correlation between 5-digit zip codes and data source is negative 0.0229. Concludes that the correlation is low enough to state that there is no dependency between zip code and source of data. Comment. So basically what they've said is zip code, data source, helps if you click the right button. Essentially, that's what they've said. This is really low. So, what do we think?
There's, like, no correlation between the two.
So they've said that there's no correlation. What else do we notice? You might want to phone a friend if you don't know. I think Josh knows.
So, what are zip codes?
Oh, it's not
They are.
quantitative.
Yes, they are both categorical variables.
Why do we it's always
Well,
happens to us kids.
Data source may or may not be categorical, but it appears that it is. So, but we know for a fact. Whoa, that was really.
Wait, so zip code could be quantitative?
No.
Okay.
Zip
I thought
codes
that's
can
what you
never
said.
be.
I was like, what?
No. The data source number.
Okay. I was like, what?
Not gonna lie, I thought you said dinosaurs.
Zip codes are categorical. It appears that they're using the data source, like since they're saying 1 is Metro Media, 2 is Data West, and 3 is Rolling Poll. That's essentially giving like a name to a number. So those would probably be categorical too, but it just kind of depends on how they're actually using them. So, but we know for a fact zip codes are categorical. They always and forever are categorical. So even though they are numerical, or they're categorical even though they are numerical. And then I would just say something like same with data source. But honestly, even if one of them is categorical and the other one is not, like, it's still not going to work. Because we can't do a scatter plot unless all variables are categorical. I mean, quantitative. They can't be categorical. Yeah, basically I drew the picture to throw you off.
This always happens to us, Chris. We never get these questions right. We have yet to get one right. Like the hair color and.
But then are you going to get it on the quiz or the test?
Wait, would hair color be quantitative or that's categorical, right?
Categorical.
Yeah.
Quantitative is things that are like actual numbers.
Yeah, moment. Chris. That's yet to ask that.
That was sad.
He was like, yeah.
I was making sure. I was making sure. And I was right.
That was a good one.
What's one? Is 1 plus 1 2?
Yeah.
All right. The Office of Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight collects data on various aspects of housing costs around the United States. Here's a scatter plot of the housing cost index versus the median family income for each of the 50 states. The correlation is 0.65.
Now wait a minute. Housing cost index is.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say they're both quantitative.
They're gonna no wait. Oh wait, did you just nod?
Yes.
Okay, they're both quantitative.
There wouldn't be able to be this many questions if they weren't.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be on it.
It's not going to be a psych out question. Be like, yep, it's. So I just can't do anything else. It's
Can
categorical.
you do that to me?
That would be
Please
cruel.
don't. I'm paranoid.
Housing cost index is a number.
Right. So that makes it quantitative. Because quantitative has to do with numbers. And categorical.
It's like a name.
Can't do with numbers too.
Categorical can be a number, but it's like a number as a name.
Quantitative
Right.
is units.
Right.
Yes. All right. So notice this is for all 50 states, but notice this giant dot up here is DC. Okay. So, describe the relationship between the housing cost index and the median family income by state. So, how would we describe, like, just like if you were describing this with the correlation of 0.65, what would you say?
I would say,
Moderate.
I'd say moderate.
What else?
I'd say
It's pretty
linear.
What else?
positive.
Yep, moderate, positive, linear relationship.
What can I say? I'm just so good at math.
And then specifically in the context, I would say as income increases, housing cost also increases. Okay, it's kind of what we would think of as like cost of living. Okay, so there are a lot of times when there was a huge jump in the cost of living a couple years ago. I want to say it went up by like 5%. A lot of jobs had to go through and do a cost of living raise, which means essentially if the cost of living went up 5%, then we need to up your salary 5% because otherwise, like, it's not going to be proportionate for the area. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people that make way more than that, and there's a lot of people that make way less than that, and so obviously it's, this is on average what it is, but in general, somewhere like San Francisco, where it's very expensive to live, probably has a higher income as well, so it's usually pretty proportionate. But also, because it's so expensive to live and every job doesn't pay $1 million, sometimes you have a little skimpy house because you can't afford to live where you are. That's why, like, one of Kenny's friends was working at the shipyard, and he went to move to New Mexico because he was getting a huge raise to go there compared to here. And I said, does he understand cost of living is higher where he's going, like in that specific area?
It's not really much of a raise then. It's just kind of...
Correct. I mean, it was maybe a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, you're packing up your whole life and moving to another state that's like way across the country.
Just for a little bit more.
Just for a little bit more.
Yeah.
When the cost of living is so much higher. And the main reason I knew it was higher was because we went to McDonald's when we were out there over the summer, a couple summers ago, and we were at McDonald's, and like here, if I got the exact same thing here, I'm just gonna say I would have paid like $20. There, it was $30. Like for the two of us. Like a meal here is around $10, I would say. I mean, now it's obviously higher, but like, and at the time, like out there, it was like $15 a meal
That's crazy.
for the exact same thing. So it's just like, you know what I mean? So like you can also see cost of living and like how much it is by just going out to eat a couple of different places that you would like normally go to, and you can see the huge difference. But
Mexico's just kind of a different state in general. It just feels kind of... It's just like our...
I mean, it's the same thing like in California, like food
Oh, yeah,
that you would
California's
get the
different.
exact same thing here, and it'd be so much higher out there. So it's just, even like Washington, D.C., which is why D.C.'s on here as well, because we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, wait, is DC... How much higher is DC for a lot of this stuff? Because I know that their food
I mean,
prices
just
are higher.
like in general, it's like a lot more expensive just to like live up there and stuff like that, and some jobs, but we're going to look at DC in just a second, and we'll see what we think it is. It's part of our question. So if we standardized both variables, would the correlation coefficient, but what would the correlation coefficient between the standardized variables be? So standardizing means if we turned them into z-scores, what would happen?
So, wait, what's that formula again? Z equals...
You don't need the formula for this. But y minus y bar over sigma.
Y minus y bar over sigma. Which one is... which one is sigma? I don't actually know.
Standard deviation.
Oh, that's what that means? It's the same thing? Oh.
But apparently, I'm too old because apparently sigma means something else these
It
days.
does. What does sigma?
I mean, I'm like 10 years younger than you, and I still don't know
I usually hear Chris giggle when you say sigma.
You literally were like dying laughing at that. Like you're.
No, I was
Yes,
not.
you were. She said that, and you were
When?
like, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, algebra 2 when I don't think I've ever seen Virginia die laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago I was doing it with algebra 2 and they were just cracking up every time I said it and I'm like, oh my goodness, like what are you doing? So annoying.
It's really dumb because it's like, you know how there's like the alpha male and like the beta male. Sigma's like right in between that, basically. That's what it means. It's really dumb.
Yeah, I looked it up and I was very confused.
Sigma will forever be standard deviation.
Correct.
You're very sigma, Joe.
Okay. Maybe she just means you're very standard.
You weren't like, okay, you were like dying laughing though. You were
I
like,
was
you're,
not
you're,
dying laughing.
you were like about to, you know
No,
what I mean?
me
Like you're,
dying laughing means that like there are tears falling out of my eyes.
it looked like you were about to though. Like you were just sitting, like you almost were laughing, like you were trying to hold it in. I remember because I looked over and you were just like, for like.
I don't think so.
No. Her hand was like this and she was just like.
What was that noise though? Chris?
I always sit like this.
No,
We're
but you
doing
like
that
you
all
looked like you were about
this.
to laugh. You literally looked like you were about to laugh.
So why was you said I was dying laughing?
Okay, I
You said
mix
was
it
about
up a
to
little bit.
laugh.
Okay, you weren't dying laughing. You like looked like you could have died laughing. Like,
Oh
yes,
my
I could
goodness.
start dying laughing at any second.
but you look
Sure.
exactly. It looked like you were about to. Like you were on the verge of like. I could have sworn I saw that.
It's all about perspective.
It's all about
Yeah, my perspective was right.
Oh,
I was there.
Died.
Huh?
Virginia almost died.
Yeah.
Of
I'm on the
laughter.
verge of dying laughing right now.
Okay, so what happens if we standardize the variables, aka we turn them into z-scores? What's going to be happening?
The Z-score is getting higher, right? Like as we get median family income? Like as it gets,
Is it going to change from what it looks like right now?
no.
No, it's going to stay the same.
No. Oh, I put A on B. I'm just gonna draw.
Correlation is based on z-scores. So it would not change. If we measured median family income in thousands of dollars instead of dollars, so notice that it's like 35,000, 40,000, all of that. So essentially if we did it in thousands of dollars and we just had 30, 45, or 30, 40, 45, and so on and so forth, how would the correlation change?
Good
Stay
question.
the same.
Yep, it wouldn't change.
I hate questions like that. I literally hate questions like that.
Is it because you always get them wrong?
It could be. It also just because like it asks like what would change, so I'm like thinking what could change.
Correlation is
Kinda.
unaffected by units.
I know. It's stupid.
No more
So
things.
units do not change correlation. I would make sure you know that and understand that. If I change something from miles to nautical miles,
Doesn't change.
doesn't change.
Yeah, you're not gonna get me with that trick question. Gonna have to try harder.
Find out when the quiz rolls around. Washington, D.C. has a housing cost index of 548 and a median family income of $45,000. So, yeah, anyways. If we were to include D.C. in the data set, how would that affect the correlation coefficient?
It would raise it. I don't think that's
Would
it.
it stay the same?
It would stay the same.
One more option.
It would go lower.
it.
It would go
We
down.
were gonna get that one wrong, Chris.
No, we got it right in the end.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
that one.
but like, you know how they say third time's the charm?
So-
Well,
Exactly.
third time was the only.
I'll explain why. So if we look up here, okay, so that's at 45,000 and they tell us that's at 548. So this dot is a lot higher than anything else in this region. And so it's a moderately high outlier, and so it doesn't really fit the pattern. Because if I had to draw a line, I would say it's probably going somewhere in here. So
we
that's
don't
pretty
even include
high.
it.
Huh?
So we don't even include the DC basically. We just leave it out, and it's.
It wasn't included in this data.
Okay.
It wasn't included in the initial stuff.
So what's the correlation coefficient? Like exactly?
The correlation coefficient is like, essentially correlation is like the distance from the line of best fit.
Okay.
So, like on average.
Right.
So this one, it would essentially make it go down because, so it would be a smaller number, it would be more widespread if we include it. So DC is a moderately high outlier and doesn't fit the pattern well. So basically what they're telling us is that the cost of living is very high and people aren't paid to meet the cost of living, essentially. Because it should be like a perfect pattern going up if it was. So, all right, last one. Do these data provide proof that by raising the median income in a state, the housing cost index will rise as a result?
Wait.
You're
Yes.
always gonna do the
Yes.
correlation is not.
Oh wait, no, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Most of the time.
Okay.
No, correlation does not equal causation.
I hit that one too.
That's most commonly the answer, so
Remember that, I guess.
we can't prove that if median income increases, that this will cause housing cost index to go up as well.